Hey guys, Ask VT live show. A little bit late today, aren't we, Mark?
We are late. It's not our fault. Don't blame us, please.
No, so it turns out that obviously something to do with privacy policies or stuff that's obviously just been released now. Skype have to inform people that we are live. So yeah, how you doing today, Mark?
Very fine. Thank you very much. Quick prayer to the machine spirit, and we were back up and running.
Yeah, we are now up and running. Just late,
Yeah.
20 minutes late, anyway. Yeah. So how's things, mate?
Fine, thanks, buddy. Apologies to everybody for being late. We're usually on time, but we literally spent 20 minutes messing about with software, but we're here now, so let's crack on with it. Uh,
You had to do an update, and
I
then
did.
this software I've got that basically screens us both to this had to tell Mark, or I had to find some advanced settings or whatnot to basically let people know I'm streaming them in case for I don't know if we're trying to do something dodgy.
Um, if you're in America, great. That gives you more time to get out of bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like West Coast, it's got to be what 11 o'clock-ish there.
yeah. So what we're talking about today, Mark?
First thing, as always, is what have you been painting?
We've got to give the guys what we're going to be talking about today. Then we'll go into
Oh,
that.
okay, fair enough.
You got to tease them in a bit.
Okay, so Admech, uh, you've got some plans for Admech. What was the word that came up for you? Um, insert word here.
I don't know.
I'll remember it in a minute. It's been a long day. So Admech, you've been going through that book, having a look at that. You've got a list or two, which is very interesting.
Yep,
You also went to a tournament
I
this weekend,
did.
yeah,
I did. Yep,
and you may even have taken Admech to that tournament to try it out.
I did.
Yeah.
So I can tell you all about why Admech.
I'll tell you what we won't be talking about.
What's that?
FAQ.
Well, we will.
Okay.
We can talk about our predictions.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, but we won't be
Or
talking about like we won't have the document in front of us going, "Hey, this is the document. This is what we're getting."
yeah, I'll just whip up some sort of document. I'll be like, yeah, guys. So what I've got here, I've been really lucky that GW have sent us the FAQ this week, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to be looking over it now. And basically, you're not going to be able to see it. So what I've got here is this page, and then we're going
Yeah.
to be flicking through it, and all the big FAQ right in here, done. Big FAQ done. See, no one
Right.
knows.
Okay.
Smoke and
Good plan.
mirrors is social media. That's what it's all about.
Uh, I've got a question for any viewers.
Yep.
The
I'm not a viewer, but carry on.
okay. the In the comment section. So what I want to know is what is the next faction army you're gonna go for?
Ooh. So,
Next
guy.
faction army slash list.
So we've got in the chat, we've got Jared, Ian James, Chris, Carl Brown, Jared, Sam Hill. How you doing? How you doing, boys? The older, the legends that are. Yep. So,
Indeed.
and there's also other people watching, but they're not saying hello. So if you're watching, say hello. Let's meet you. And if you're one of our many trolls, say hello.
And dislike.
I want to meet you. We did get a troll this week, didn't we? Didn't we, Mark?
Minor.
And
Mi-
I thought my reply was great.
yeah, I wouldn't
Um,
bother. I really wouldn't. I don't think it's worth your time.
just stir the pot a little bit. Yeah,
Moving on.
because
Right.
what the thing is with internet trolls, what they don't realise is that when they comment on our posts, that boosts our engagement. That's great. More
Yeah.
people then see our posts. Just want to keep it coming. So Chris is working on Space Wolves as always.
Yeah. You and me both, Chris.
Ron S is I'm working on Space Wolves. Why is it with Space Wolves, eh?
I literally pick up about 40 Space Wolves half painted here. Here we go. I've got them on the desk in front of me. We're all working on Space Wolves.
Sam Hill said he'll be collecting Eldar. Nice.
Awesome
Sam,
choice.
we can have a lot
Yeah,
of chat, Sam. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I do like the Eldar, the craft world. We've got Orcs Pit said hello. I need to build more Chaos armies. Definitely. Oh my god, I've literally built the most insane Chaos list. It's incredible. So if you want to know my Chaos list, then we can go over that too. But
Sounds
it's
good.
just filthy dirt. Carl said, "Hey boys, who's up for Glasshammer at the end of the month? You're going to Glasshammer?
I'm not certain.
You're not certain. You've got some other work commitments, haven't you, at the moment?"
Yes, unfortunately, I'm trying to wriggle out of it. I've got a ticket. I'm going to submit my list, and the worst thing comes to worst, I'll have to email Dan and say, "I'm sorry, mate, I can't make it."
Yeah, but Jack and other Dan are going.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I am moving house that day. Gutted. Yeah. Chris Wilson or Carl Brown is working on his Corn Demons. Sam H is struggling with Necrons. For a while, I'm planning on starting an Imperial army and hopefully help me become more competitive. Already have a Knight Crusader. That could be interesting how that goes with the next FAQ drop. Chris Wilson building Beltan. Mate, Beltan is the craft world of dreams. People don't talk about it, but it's the way forward. Elatop is a thing of the past. Beltan, way forward. There are some dirty warlord traits and stratagems for Beltan.
And relics and reroll ones with the Shuriken.
Oh,
I run Beltan. It's a great choice.
It's a great life choice. I ran it at the ETC last year with Wave Serpent spam and Dire Avenger spam. It was good.
Excellent.
But their best warlord trait is an auto guide. So you pick a unit, reroll misses. Amazing. You don't even need the Farseer. Just take an auto out, give them that warlord trait. Unit of Reapers, rerolling all hits. Thank you very much.
And then Doom, reroll all wounds.
Yep. But it just means that what then it allows you to do is cast Fortune on your Spears or your Reapers for free. Yeah. And then also their stratagem, which always gets forgotten about, is +3 to the charge range, I think, if they are a Beltan aspect warrior squad. So therefore, you could take a massive unit of aspect warrior Howling Banshees.
Awesome.
Tearing it up. Turn 2, Banshees coming in. And then turn 3, the Spears come in. And all you need is a 6-inch charge. Happy days.
Sounds good.
Or I think it might be either +2 or +3, but either way it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Pioneer. That is the word.
Yeah, I'm a list pioneer. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah, we were discussing it, weren't we? Because you were saying, I'm going to take Death Watch. He said, no, I really want to take Admech. I'm really interested in trying something different. And I said, good for you. I said, look, you're probably not going to go 5-0. But you're a pioneer. You're trying something new. You're going to a tournament, seeing how it goes, testing it out fully. So I salute you, sir. I think that's a good life choice. It would have been easy to just go Death Watch and then try and
go 5-0. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's it. Jared said it adds 2 to the charge and reroll 1 to hit. Could be something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Sam Hill said the Craft Worlds list is now sorted. That's okay. No, not a problem, Sam.
Yeah.
Always happy to help. Yeah. So basically, I had. Basically, this week, and up to answer your question, Mark, about what I've been painting, is absolutely nothing this week.
Okay.
Because I've been painting Jack's army.
Well, that is something.
Yeah, I've painted basically another 1,000 points of Jack's orcs for him. Or maybe 500 points, yeah. But we're nearly there now with the 2,000 point orc list for the channel.
Super. So hopefully we'll see that soon.
What about you?
Space Wolves, and also I've injected into the painting list. I've made some Rangers out of Cabalites and Dark Lances, so they look like they're the snipers. I had a box of Cabalites. I had enough Dark Lances from the various boxes of Cabalites that I've had. I've whipped them up quick. I've got a tournament this weekend on Saturday, a one-dayer, and I've got a nice little list, and it's got Rangers in it, 2 squads of Rangers, and I didn't have time to go get some from GW and sort the resin out and paint them all and that sort of thing. So that's what I've been working on this week.
Decent. Chris Wilson, Chris Smalley, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Just join the chat. Um,
The Orcs look awesome, by the way. I've had a minor part to play in the painting of those the other week. They're going to be wicked. I love that list that Jack's put together. We talked about it a few weeks back on the VT Live. That Speed Freaks list is awesome. I played it twice actually. I got beat by it once and I beat it once. It's a really, really good list.
yeah, and then I played it before I did the big tournament. So big was at the Bristol Independent Gaming Club. I think that's what it was called. And basically, not too far away from me, 2-day event, and it was ETC style, so Eternal War and Maelstrom, 2,000 points, and I took Admech, a pure Admech list.
Why don't you? Do you want to talk us through the tournament first, or just we talk Admech first, and then what do you prefer?
Let's put it out to the guys.
Okay.
So, if you're in the chat, do you want me to talk over why Admech first or the tournament? I have the book here. The Book of Dreams. It's all in here, boys. It's all in here. It just took me a while to figure it all out. But, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll wait a few seconds before people start saying...
one thing to mention before we hear the responses is there, if you go onto the Warhammer community site or the Facebook page or whatever, Games Workshop have released the survey. I filled it in yesterday. It took me about 15 minutes or so, I think. It's a fairly big thing, as in it's not 30 seconds of a job. Absolutely 100% worthwhile doing, because you get your say to them on what that you want to see. So the time they did it, last time they did this, I believe, was about 2 years ago, and from that came Plastic Sisters, because loads of people said, I want Plastic Sisters. So I gave feedback on some stuff, loads and loads of positive feedback, and they specifically ask about what tournaments you'd like to see, what you like, what events, what countries you want to go to, etc., etc.
Did you mention Vanguard Tactics in any of that?
I didn't.
Guys,
there wasn't a box for it.
So what you need to do, guys, is basically put the YouTube channel in Vanguard Tactics in any way, shape, or form possible when you do your form, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get on the radar. Let's do it.
That'd be good. In the form, what I have asked for Christmas from GW is the following thing: plastic Eldar models and updated plastic Eldar models. No more resin, no more metal.
Yeah,
I'd love some plastic Rangers, Aspect Warriors, those guys. I think that they're due an update.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So everyone that wants to know why Admech first.
Okay. Let's go. So I want to know the same question. I've got a little bit of background, not on you, but on Admech. So when the Admech came out and the Codex dropped, it wasn't looking too hot, if I remember correctly. People were using Admech in Index, which seemed to be a bit better, and then people struggled with it. And then it had an update and a points drop, and since then it's looked reasonably tasty. So at that point, you seem to get mildly excited, and then you've gone on the Admech journey with the Omnissiah. Why? What was it about the Admech and the updated Admech that you thought, yeah, I'm going to get stuck into these lads, build an army?
3 things. Number 1, 4 things actually. 4 things. Number 1, I love the robot model, and I think I can put him up on the screen. I mean, look how cool he is. So you can't see him, Mark, but he's right next to you, and he looks absolutely sick. I painted this bad boy.
Where?
Huh?
That way.
He's literally no, the other way, Mark. He's that there. Way. No, the other way.
That way. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So he's a beautiful model. Just look at him. So that is number 1. He is cool. So love the robot model. Always have. And I was like, right, they put out a lot of shots. Anything that can shoot twice with a lot of shots is good for me. And anything with re-rolls is also good for me because I can't roll for toffee. So I need a lot of them to average out the chaff dice, and I need a lot of them to re-roll. Happy days, right? I'm a happy man. So that's one thing. Second thing is that Vigilus campaign book came out, and 2 decent Vigilus formations came out. Not amazing, but I saw something there. Number 3 was obviously the points drop, chapter approved, no brainer. And then number 4 is that the ITC have changed their ruling on best in faction. Best in faction now, which I think is an incredible change, and I'm really happy they've done it, is that you have to be from one book. So as Admech, because knights are in their book, you can have Admech with one single knight, and you're still best in faction as Admech. So I love that. So they're my 4 reasons.
Cool. Yeah.
I love and I really like sort of Blanche. Is it John Blanche sort of theme of like that kind of. In some of the models up close look really, really cool, and some of the conversions I've seen are incredible. Like really sort of manipulated, and just kind of these warriors that are just basically now living machines out of voxes and tubes and stuff. It's just really dark, really, really dark, and that's what I was like, okay, I could do something there. I could, yeah. So anyway, looked into that, and there are some really nice stratagems in this book. The unfortunate thing is that the book suffers from early edition, 8th edition. And basically, in this book, a lot of the... So you've got, the main components of any book. You've obviously got you've got, first of all, their main ability, which is the canticles, okay? So the canticles of the Omnici or whatever, basically are an army-wide ability that everyone gets through Admech. And you can either pick them once per game, or you can roll for them randomly. Now, some of them are fantastic, and others are just dreadful, like absolutely useless. Like one of them, on a roll of a 2, and that is my favourite number to roll in the game as a 2, is... So you do this at the start of the battle round. So you roll the dice, okay? And then roll a d6 for each enemy unit that is within 1 inch of any affected models. Roll a d6. On a 6, that unit being rolled for suffers d3 mortal wounds. When is that ever going to happen? Never. Right? Literally never. If you're in combat with Admech at the start of the battle round, you're probably doing it wrong. Right? So anyway, and then only on a 6 does it go off. So it's literally the worst thing ever. But some of them here, like reroll, like you can reroll failed morale tests is okay. You can add reroll 1s to hit rolls in the fight phase is all right, depending on the unit. But Admech typically shooty. Reroll 1s to hit, you don't really need that because of cruel. +1 strength, you don't really need that. Or the best one is you get cover, which is basically just saving yourself 2 CPs if you go first. Yeah. Right, so then what we've got is basically, after that, you've then got your Forge Worlds, all right? And you look at these Forge Worlds and you're like, nah, all of these sound a bit garbage, right? None of them really jump out at me, okay? There's one that is good, and I did run a battalion of this. So you've basically got your Mars, which means you basically get 2 canticles per turn rather than just 1. And I really like that because you can spend 1 CP at the start of the battle round before you roll your canticles or pick them, and you can pass your canticles over to your knight. So now you've got a knight that can reroll 1s to hit or get a cover save. Pretty decent, okay? That's quite good with a crass knight. Reroll 1s, beautiful. Giving him a cover save, now he's on a 2-up save. Happy days. You've then got Briar. Each time a model dies or flees, roll a d6, and on a 6, he stands back up. He's not slain, essentially. So it's different to a Feel No Pain. It's really, really strong. They have a very good stratagem, which means on a 4+ within 24 inches, you can deny psychic power. Really, really good. That is one of the best stratagems in the game, I think. To be able to go, you're not jinxing me, or
I think Sisters have got something similar. I've had that happen to me with them. Yeah, it's really powerful.
so.
Shuts Eldari down quite a lot.
Yeah, so have Black Templars and also maybe Khorne, I think. So really, really good stratagem from them. So I really like that, and they're pretty durable. Then you've got the others, Metallica. Like if a unit with this dogma advances, it can ignore the penalty for firing assault weapons, and it treats rapid fire weapons as assault. Well, most of your decent guns are heavy, so you're never really going to get the benefit of that. Okay. You've then got Lucius, which means when making saving throws, enemy units with a -1 just count as 0. Again, meh, doesn't do anything really. We've then got when firing Overwatch on 5+, you hit rather than a 6. Again, not that great. It's not like Styges, which is probably the best one. -1 to hit if you're over 12 inches. So like you're a Latok, really, really good, strong one that is. I like that. And then we got Ryaz, which is you can reroll 1s in the fight phase with this dogma. And again, you look at this on first overview, and you're like, reroll 1s to wound in the fight phase. Why would I ever want that? Okay. So this brings me on to them warlord traits. There's not any good ones at first glance. If you take Cruel, normally they go for the extra 3-inch range on your power. Not that great, to be honest. There is one where you can regenerate CP. That's probably your best one as a standard. Yeah. And then you've got, after that, you've then got your relics. Again, all pretty useless on first glance. Most of them are axes and other stuff like this. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, let me talk you through my list that I took at the weekend, and I'll tell you how I did. And then what I'll do is I'll tell you what I've come up with for my next tournament, which I think really pulls out some of the most abstract units in this book, and I think are really pretty powerful. So this is what I've been working on next. So in my list I took, and I'll tell you why I took each aspect of it. I had a Crass Knight, and I made him my warlord, so I just stuck with Iron Bulwark, and I also took the Crast Headsman's Mark relic, because then I didn't have to spend 2 CPs. Okay? Perfect. Now, I made a mistake with that already, okay? Actually, no, I didn't. That's just fine. So, basically, I saved myself from spending 2 CPs straight off the back. Someone said about a repair relic and repair warlord trait. It's okay, but to be honest, if you're playing against someone decent, they shoot and they kill. They don't leave stuff standing to really repair. Repairing didn't really come up that often. The only thing I probably repaired now and again was my knight, and you can only do 1 wound back to it. In repairing 2 wounds to double up isn't that great. So, yeah, it rarely comes up if I'm honest, to really be that sort of useful.
Yeah.
Against a good player. So it is a good point, but typically it's not going to happen. So basically, in my list, I took a battalion Agraya. Okay, so I had just 2 engineers and 3 units of 5 rangers as a screen. I then had another battalion of 2 units. I had a unit of 7, a unit of 5 rangers, and then I had 9 destroyers in a unit. Okay, and you're like, why 9, Steve? Well, everyone had a plasma gun and a flamer. Okay. I then had 2 characters, which were Belisarius Cruel and also Manipulus. So Manipulus gives you 6 inches extra range if he stands still, and everyone else around him gets 6 inches range or extra 3 if their normal range is under 24. So now my Flamers have got an 11-inch range. Because normally, if those orcs drop in and they charge you from 9 inches away, you can't flame them. But now I can, and destroyers on Overwatch roll 2 dice and they pick the highest in regards to their flamer shots, which is really cool. So being able to flame from 11 inches away is really nice. I then had in that same battalion, so I'm re-rolling my misses, I've got my Cruel in there. I then took the Vigilus campaign on my Destroyers, I can't remember the name of it now. Basically, the one that is for destroyers. So it allows me for 1 CP to give them a +1 to their invulnerable save. So now on a 5+ invulnerable save. Okay. And I'll be honest, that was a mistake. It was a waste of time taking it, and I'll go on to why that is later. Then what I also had was a unit of 4 robots, shooty robots. So all with the phosphor blasters. And that's pretty much my list. Oh, and an assassin as well. So I've basically got a 3-unit army: a Knight Crusader, a unit of 9 destroyers, and then 4 robots and a bit of a screen. That was the list.
And what characters did you take with that, Steve?
Cruel, so he gives me reroll misses.
Yeah.
And then Manipulous, +6-inch range.
You got a special conversion of Manipulous, haven't you?
I do have a very special conversion of the potato, we call him.
We have a special name for him, which is the Space Potato.
The Space Potato, yeah. So
check him out on our Instagram.
Yeah, so that's the list. So the reason why I like it is that there's some quite nice stratagems in here. So 2 CPs, you can give your destroyers and your robots +1 to hit. Okay? Someone's disliked the Space Potato already. Well,
Yeah.
they didn't like it. So
they probably played against it, that's why.
Yeah. So 2 CPs, and you can get +1 to hit with your destroyers and your robots, which means that when you overcharge your destroyers, you cannot die. You cannot kill yourself. Okay? Providing that there's no other minus modifiers, because destroyers move and shoot without penalty, which is amazing. Yeah. Something Barry didn't even know, by the way. I taught him that the other day when we played.
Okay, yeah.
Barry's
Stop teaching Barry stuff, because he's getting better.
Barry's the person I'm borrowing the entire army off.
Yeah. He's awesome, but when I played him last time, he'd got considerably better, and he's like, Steve taught me how to do this.
Yeah.
Stop that,
Steve. Cameron Giles has just entered the chat. How you doing, Cameron? He was at the weekend as well. He got best Death Watch, top lad. So basically, we've got 2 CPs +1 to hit, amazing. So the destroyers, D6 shots, amazing. So you should average 30 shots out of 9 destroyers. Strength 8, -3, 2 damage, pretty decent. You then get +1 to hit with your robots. So now your robots are hitting on 3s rather than 4s. And then you can spend 1 CP so that at the end of the phase, you can change your protocol so you can fire twice, okay? So now I'm pumping out 72 shots. Strength 6, -2, 1 damage, ignoring cover, okay? Hitting on 3s, rerolling misses. And then, for 2 CPs, Wrath of Mars kicks in. 2 CPs, and for every 6 you roll to wound, you do a mortal wound in addition.
Nice.
Pretty tasty. So I'm looking at these combos like there is some utter filth here, right?
So you've got your list,
yeah.
And so let's summarise to this point. You've got 4 damn good reasons why you really fancy to go at Admech.
Yeah, and I got a bit bored with Death Watch was the other reason.
Fair enough. They're always there if you want to go back to them.
Yeah.
Then you've invested in the book, decided to have a good look through it, and you think there's some tasty combos there that may be not being used. You can try and make a competitive list out of it. So then you've made that list, you've played a few games with it, and then you've set off to the big GT. So talk us through your games then, mate, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I'll keep this pretty brief, but basically, turn 1 was against Necron. Game 1 was against a Necron player, really lovely guy. We had such a wicked game. And he had a really sort of combat-heavy Necron list with the 3 flyers that basically spaff out mortal wounds like no tomorrow.
The Croissant-based flyers.
The Croissants, that's it. Now, there wasn't much terrain on this. In fact, there wasn't hardly any line of sight blocking terrain at all. That was my one sort of criticism of the event, really, was just that we need more line of sight blocking terrain. Okay? So turn 1... it was alternating deployment. I get the +1. I'm going first, and then I get seized on.
That's your favourite thing, isn't it?
No, it's not my favourite thing.
Not mine either.
With mortal wounds spamming croissants was not my favourite thing. So anyway, goes first, but he's also got 2 big units of Wraiths. 6-man units of Wraiths. He's got this unit that can just teleport into my lines and then get +1 to their charge. The tomb scythes, or whatever they're called, nasty little things.
Yeah.
They got 2 wounds each. Yeah, they nearly killed my knight in combat, by the way, in 1 turn. Pretty good. Yeah. He's also then got a Catan as well, and then Scarab. So a very quick, fast-paced list, obviously. So I don't want, turn 1 in my lines, I've basically got 2 units of Wraiths to deal with and a Catan. So I kind of sack off the Catan. I'm like, right, there's nothing I can do about him, so he's just going to have to do his thing. And then what I've got is 2 units of Wraiths to deal with. So I'm like, right, double down on my shooting, get the +1 to hit off, and then I put on the old Wrath of Mars. So I'm like 5 CPs, and then basically smashed a unit of Wraiths off the board. I overkilled them with Wrath of Mars. It was amazing. And then with the next unit, I put all my other shots into the other unit and then charged it in combat with my knight. No, I didn't. I shot it with my knight, and then I move blocked. No, hang on a minute. I used my knight and my destroyers to kill a croissant, so he couldn't keep doing the mortal wound thing again, because you need 3 of them. And then I killed a unit of 6 Wraiths, and then I screened out the other unit of Wraiths. That's what I did. Because I was like, right, I can deal with a couple of threats. Let's just focus on that. And then turn 2, I switched up, shot the Wraiths, killed the Wraiths with my knight, and basically it was pretty much game at this point.
Yeah.
So I'd won that game quite comfortably, really. But it was a really, really good game. Cameron said, thanks for the advice on the weekend after game 1, by the way. Applied it for the rest of the event and it really helped. Mate, not a problem at all. With that Deathwatch list, you've got to just think of it in different ways, how you can use it. And I think sometimes we get in the age-old habit of just doing the same thing over and over again because it works well. But it doesn't mean it's going to work well in every matchup. So me and Cameron just went over some deployment stuff, as Cameron runs a very similar list to my Deathwatch. So then game 2, after that, I'm on 1... Oh, and the other thing I forgot to do at this point, this was really, really annoying, was that I said to my opponent, I was like, look, if I table you now, we carry on playing to turn 7, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool, I'll carry on then. So I was just like, I'll just table him now, and then I could just freely move about, or just speed it up a bit. He can pack his model ways or whatever while I carry on my turns. T.O. walks past, and I'm like, just to check, Liam, if I table him now, and I just rolled my hit rolls with the destroyers, I was like, just to check, if I table him now, we carry on playing, don't we? And he's like, no, you end the battle round. I was like, oh. Because we're at turn 4 at this point. Because what I wanted to do was leave his one lord alive, running around on his own, and then I could just grab objectives for the rest of the game, for maybe 3 more turns. And I worked it out, and I cost myself an extra 13 victory points, and that was it, ending it round 5. If it goes on to 6 and 7, God knows how many I'd have had. I could have been well in the lead. So anyway, I was a bit gutted about that. Anyway, so after that, kick in the teeth, that one. Go on to game 2, and I'm up against... Game 2, I'm up against Nurgle Demons. Okay? And this is the deployment where you have to set up your entire army. So I set up my entire army, and I'm like, there's actually, funny enough, a load of line of sight blocking terrain on this table, which is quite annoying.
Yeah.
Like, too much, if anything. And then I was like, I need to go aggressive, because if I don't, he'll go first, move up, get board control, I lose the game, because he'll just have board control if I let him have it. So I need to basically shoot it off that. So then what we did was, basically, I set up quite aggressive to make sure I've got some good firing lines into where I'm assuming he's going to deploy. In his list, he's got 60 Nurgle Plague Bearers. He's got 2 or 3 Demon Princes. He's got a Chaos Sorcerer. He's got a Leviathan Dreadnought. He's got another Contemptor Dreadnought. He's got 3 Obliterators. Just a nasty list. Really nasty list. Anyway. So we set up. He sets up. I'm like, okay, cool. Right, I can probably do X amount. I can probably get rid of 1 unit of Pox Plague Boys here this turn. Next turn, get rid of the others, and then I can worry about I can hopefully then screen out the characters and just take on 1 at a time. Basically, that was the plan. No, it wasn't the plan. Because what did he do, Mark?
He seized, didn't he?
He seized.
It's not your favourite thing, is it?
No.
No.
So,
you were knackered.
So far,
after that.
2 out of 2 games have been seized on. So then my turn 1, my knight completely whiffs. He does 2 damage to a dreadnought. And I'm like, okay, well, that was a bit of a blow. And then my
Yeah.
robots do okay. Oh, and by the way, I'd already lost to his first shooting phase most of my destroyers anyway. I just couldn't roll 4 up saves or 3 up saves. I just couldn't roll 3 up saves. And it was a nightmare because then all of his auto cannons are a flat 3 damage and they were just going through me like butter. And then when he was shooting my rangers, I was like 5 up, 5 up, 5 up. I was like, just die. I'm happy for you to die as long as you roll 3s on the destroyers. But it was just one of them. Can't really do anything about it. It's not like I rolled unstatistically. It just happened to be on the wrong stuff. But so I lost most of my destroyers turn 1. Then what happened was basically put a load of shots in, cleared off loads of pox springs, and I'm like, okay, cool, might be in this now. He then comes forward another turn, and then his obliterators come down and double shoot and just annihilate 3 out of my 4 robots. And I'm just like, oh my days. It was unreal. And then I'd lost all my destroyers. He was in my lines, and I just said, look, we can call this game now. I'm happy to concede.
Yeah.
So I conceded before turn 2. Because there's nothing I can do. And then we just said, look, I said, I'm happy to math this out with you so you can score all your points you need to, because you'd basically keep me alive till turn 5 at least. And we mathed that out and he scored his points. But then I was off to do some work, so it's kind of quite good in a way. It was quite nice. So I had a loss. And if I go first in that matchup, the problem with it is the fact that I could have deployed defensively, but then I'd have lost the game on Maelstrom. Like, he would have just had board control with that many models. I could have, if it was you go, I go deployment, I would have deployed differently. But when you know you should be going first and then get seized on, it's just a real, I don't know, it's just really painful with that list as well. So that was a lesson learned there, that not to get seized on.
Yeah, that's a lesson that's difficult to do anything about. My question to you is this: everything negative can become a positive.
Yeah.
So I imagine that being in that situation, and you maybe, we'll talk about this in more depth, but you're going to say probably my list needs to change slightly to deal with that type of list, or you say to yourself, I was just unlucky. It happens. Don't matter. Forget about it. What are your thoughts on that?
The list doesn't need to change to deal with that list.
Right.
In a regular style deployment, it doesn't need to change in any way, really. I don't think against that list. It can beat it. I think it's definitely possible to. Because I zoned him out and screened him out and moved him and blocked him really, really well with it, which is one of the things I have up my sleeve.
Yeah.
But just not having that second turn and a few bad rolls just was the man. It's a close game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be close in that matchup. I don't think the list needs to change necessarily. Like, I wouldn't change the list solely on that one matchup, because the likelihood of, like, that's the first time I've ever played in all of the tournaments I've played. That's the first time I've played against Nurgle Demons. So it's not like you're playing them every single week. They're not really like a meta list at the moment. You don't see them on, 20% of the tables. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
sure.
it doesn't really need to change, because you'd be changing it for that. It's like having, let's say, Custodes really messed me up, for example. I wouldn't change my list to play Custodes.
Yeah.
Or Space Wolves, let's say they were the thing that really was the thorn in my side.
Coming to the FAQ to this channel.
So yeah, I don't think it needs to change really. If I'd have gone first, I think that game goes to me.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, fair enough. So game 3 then, mate.
Game 3.
What did you have?
Oh, this was not a good matchup for him.
No.
I played Ultramarines. He had 3 Predators and I went first in this game. Did I go first? Either way, I can't remember if I did or I didn't. But either way, it's either his turn 1, he didn't really do anything, or in my first turn, I basically took off the Predator, and then most of his Hellblasters. I just go through his army so quickly because of all the -2 stuff with the robots.
Yeah.
And he's got a gun line, I've got a gun line, but my gun line is just a lot better. So yeah, he really wasn't lucky. against that matchup's really bad for him. Yeah,
So it went well for you that game.
yeah.
Commanding victory there.
So far, and do you know what was really funny? Actually, everyone was knackered by the end of game two, and I was like,
Right.
I feel great. I've been sat down for the last hour and a half because I conceded in 20 minutes. So I was real fresh. I actually finished the day like I feel real good. This is all
Yeah.
right. This.
Yeah.
I mean, my goal with this whole list was to win a game anyway.
Yeah.
I'm taking a list I've never really used before, and yeah, I was like, if I can win a game, and the reason why I'm taking different lists to different tournaments is because when I put them on the Vanguard Tactics channel, I want to be able to show you how good they are. When I'm talking on these lives, I want to be able to tell you from experience what this stuff can do. So, for example, Wrath of Mars, I'll actually come back to my original strategy at the end, and you'll see why I'm going to change my list. Okay. So then, anyway, my game three, I go up against. So, sorry, game four,
Yeah.
I'm up against the one and only Gary Moore from the Vanguard Tactics mentorship team.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, and it's Hammer and Anvil deployment.
Yeah.
He's got a Guard, Space Marine, and Knight Castellan soup list.
Yeah.
And it's the deployment where I go, he goes. I set up first. And then guess what he does?
He went and got you a coffee.
No.
No. Did he seize?
He seized.
He seized custard. Yeah.
So 3 out of 4 games I got seized on.
Not only are you awful at rolling, but you're great at other people rolling against you.
Yeah.
That's why you'll see a common theme with Steve's army, where on the channel he'll go, "Yeah, I'm looking for combos where there's a lot of dice and I get to re-roll them."
Yeah.
That's why Death Watch was wonderful for you. If I'm going, I'm looking for very high-powered small number of shots because I mostly roll sixes.
Yeah. I know. So, and he's obviously got his Castellan on the back line, and his
Yeah.
Castellan has got the capability of wiping out 4 robots in a turn, or all 9 destroyers in a turn, or
Yeah.
my knight in a turn. And I was like, I think this is game Gary.
Yeah.
And anyway, I can't remember what he does turn 1. And that's it. He gets rid of 2 of my robots turn 1 and a couple of destroyers. And I'm like, that's a blow. Anyway, Gary made a couple of deployment errors, and I pointed them out to him at the end of the game. And basically, he let me get board control. I just went super aggressive. There was this one and only piece of line of sight blocking in the centre of the battlefield, and I just basically went straight into it. And I was like just chipping a unit on it every single turn, just so I could score 2 for the middle and 1 for mine, basically, because it was that Eternal War mission.
Yeah.
And I had board control so I could get all the objectives. And he was being really cagey with his Castellan and his other robots. And he basically gifted me his 10 veterans turn 1, so I took those off the board, the ones that can fire like 60 shots with their buffs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I got rid of them. And yeah, basically I got rid of those turn 1. I just left the Castellan alone and just basically focused on killing absolutely everything else. And he came forward with his bikes, and it then allowed me to move in advance. Move in heroically intervene in things with, or move in charge with my knight, so I could get a bit more of the battlefield. I pushed up, and there was this one turn, and I was like, right, this turn the Castellan's going down. Okay, everything is going on him. Lined it up beautifully. So destroyers +1 to hit. I made Gary make 16 3-up saves. Okay. Bear in mind, each of these saves do 2 damage. He only failed 2 of them. So I did 4 damage. It should have been average 12. Should have done average 12 wounds to this Castellan. So I've done 4 so far. I'm like, well, that was a blow. I put my Crass Knight into him, which does basically 2 extra damage per wound that goes through. Did a few more wounds. And then I'm like, right, I'm going to charge him. So I was like, right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to charge him. So I charge, go in. He's got a Volcano Lance with D6 shots. What did he roll, Mark?
Probably just the one.
No, he didn't roll a 1. He rolled
was it 6?
He rolled a 6. Do you know how many hits he got, Mark, out of 6?
I reckon it's probably going to be 6.
No, he got 3 hits out of 6. He had a 50% hit rate on Overwatch, right? I was like, so I took a fair few wounds off that.
Oh yeah, sorry, that would be 6 6s, wouldn't it? So he rolled just the 3 6s,
Yeah.
following the 6 he'd rolled previously.
Yeah, so then he opens up with the plasma thing,
Yeah.
Crawl's Wrath or whatever it is, right? 2d6 shots. Guess how many shots he got?
Was it 12?
It was 12 shots, yeah. Yeah. Guess how
Well
many.
done, Gary.
And then guess how many sixes he rolled on Overwatch to hit me?
Half.
6, yeah.
6, yeah.
So he now brackets me. Okay, I'm a bracketed knight. I'm like,
But,
right. So I go in.
what was your face like at this point? Like, were you laughing? Were you going, hey, Gary, this is fun. This is so much fun.
It was me like this. Anyway, so
You consider conceding at that point?
table flipping, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, this knight's going down, I don't care. Because I still get, even in combat, I get +2 damage to it. And I'm like, I was thinking, I hit on 3s. He's already bracketed. He was already hitting on 5s anyway. I was like,
Yeah.
right, I can take him in combat. So I go in combat, right? I hit with a fair few, although he's bracketed me. But when I rolled to wound, I rolled 1-4. Because I'm strength 8, he's toughness 8. I rolled 1-4 out of 8. I was like, this is ridiculous. He saved it, and I was like, oh, great. And then he swings back and then does another like 5 damage to me. I'm like, how is this possible? You were hitting on 5s. And then he just obviously falls back and just blows me off the table. So that was one very special, monumental occasion. Yeah. Not a highlight, I tell you. But anyway,
Gary.
and then basically I just spent the entire game hiding and just scoring points where I could, and I ended up winning on points. So I just kind of outplayed Gary on the mission.
Yeah.
And then I gave sort of Gary some tips and stuff. And the other thing I did was I used a chess clock throughout, and that was really, really good. Everyone really enjoyed that. So that was game 4. And then game 5 was against a Imperial Guard player. And this is the Hugo Iger deployment. He's got 3 tank commanders, Lehman Russes, 2 basilisks, 2 wyverns, about 100 infantry models, and then a unit of 9. He's got 3 units of 3 mortars. He's got some outflanking boys. He's got a smash captain, Blood Angel smash captain. He's got a unit of scouts in a patrol, and he's also got 9 ogrins, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I get the +1. I rolled a 1. I was like, there was no line of sight blocking terrain. I was like, this is game already. I know it. I know this is game. So he then redeploys his smash captain right in front of my lines, and I was like, cool, he's took the bait. I was like, cool, I can Overwatch you now. Not Overwatch, sorry, I can Auspex scan you with my 9 destroyers.
Yeah.
So 9 destroyers open up with flamers, so D6 shots each, flamers, because they're in range, and then 9, basically 30 plasma hits. My -1 to hit, so I was like, okay, I won't overcharge. I did 2 wounds to him.
Solid.
2 wounds to him. I was like, this is ridiculous. So at that point I knew it was game, because then he then just takes off all my destroyers with his smash captain, and then I just get slowly mortared to death. Yeah. I still scored points. I played it out. I didn't concede, but I just played it out to score some points, because at this point I was like, I could get best AdMech player at this point. But anyway, so that was the tournament. I went 3-2.
Not bad for a brand new list where you're trying some brand new stuff. Did you enjoy it? Was it good to play with the AdMech?
It was hard because I was outplayed by the terrain and the getting seized on, really. So it's kind of hard to enjoy those games.
Yeah.
Because you obviously, when you deploy, you set up your entire strategy for one thing. So that was a bit frustrating, to be honest. It took the edge off it a little bit for me. It's the list. It's if I would have gone first, I would have gone 5-0.
Yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable. I'd have gone. I might have got different matchups, obviously.
Obviously, there's no way that out of 5 you would expect to go first either 3 or 2, wouldn't you? You know.
Well, you wouldn't get seized on 3 out of 5 games.
Yeah. No, that seems to be statistically a statistical anomaly.
Yeah.
So the
So getting back to my list.
Yeah. So the question to you is, what's the future for you and AdMech? So then you can talk about the list and like where you see it going, or if you want to keep it out as it is, or whatever. You know what I mean, like or are you going to drop it? You're going to go, no, I don't think that there's anything there. I've done the best I can.
So
I'm going to
I,
move on to something else.
now I used Wrath of Mars twice.
Yeah.
Okay, Crawl is 190 points. He's going out the list. He's rubbish.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I'm going to keep with Admech, but I'm not taking Mars.
Okay.
So my list as it stands. I don't know if I should tell people actually, but maybe I should keep it secret. But I'm changing the list a lot. There's a lot of things that I'm changing in the list because I just don't think it's worth the points. So there's a couple of really good. I'm going to be trying out. Do you know what? I'm not going to tell the list yet. I want to save it
Okay.
because I think
maybe test it a little bit, and then if it works well, then that's something that you could put out for people.
Well, I don't really want to do that because
Yeah.
if I did that, well, next time I do a tournament, people are like, oh, I know what tournament list you're going to play, Steve, and I know all your tricks and your meta. So I'm not going to share my new list, but it's still Admech. There's still some of my favourite things in there, but there are some unit choices in there that are a little bit out there, should we say. But there's some real unique characteristics in the book that I found that I really, really like. So it's going to be exciting. But anyway, if you would like my list for the Admech list that I did at that I took for the big, it's going to be over on Patreon as soon as we get off this call.
Super. Okay, great.
I've got it downloaded ready. I just need to upload it to Patreon. So if you want to check that out, all you need to do is head over to vanguardtactics.com, sign up to our emails, and then all the links you need to our Patreon page is there, along with the lists that you need.
So, to summarise then,
Mm-hmm.
you were drawn in to Admech.
Yeah.
You've been through the book, had a good look, come up with a decent list,
Mm-hmm.
took it out, played it, had some fun at a tournament.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, yeah, I want to persevere with Admech. I think that there's some cracking stuff in here. You've
Mm-hmm.
got maybe slightly obscure units you're going to stick in there. You've got new list. You're going to play it a little bit. You're going to test it now, so we can see from you in future some playing Admech for some months to come to test that out. Maybe go to another tournament with it.
Yeah.
See how you.
Yeah, definitely. I just need to buy some.
Pioneering. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, there are some really good combos in this book. They're just really hard to find.
Yeah.
They're not obvious choices. And I think that's the real skill when you create a list is I did the obvious thing. I was like, cool, reroll misses, robots put out loads of shots, Wrath of Mars, mortal wounds. It's an easy combo to spot.
Yeah.
But there's others in there. Others which I think will catch people off guard. And I'm really excited for the FAQ because I think my list becomes a lot stronger after the FAQ.
So that segued us nicely onto the FAQ then.
Yeah.
So it's not dropped yet, but we're expecting it any day soon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about the rumours because, or you can do if you want, but rumours tend to be like 50% of them aren't true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the better question is, and for the guys in the chat as well.
Yep.
What do you want from the FAQ?
Well, I know what I want to get rid of.
Is it dice?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, mate, it's not going to happen.
No, I really hope they get rid of seizing.
Okay.
I hate that mechanic.
Yeah, especially after this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. So.
I just think, here's the thing, right? If you, in regards to seizing, if I seize on somebody and they've basically lost on misdeployment, that's not a game. I don't feel good about seizing on somebody and winning a game. Do I feel good about someone seizing on me and winning the game because they seized? No. So at what point is that really any beneficial to the game at all? Unless you're somebody that just rocks up to a tournament and needs to seize to win a game.
Yeah.
And then I would ask you to become a better player rather than relying on rolling a 6 to seize.
To be fair, the same thing happened to me. I was playing another Eldari army. I'd set up pretty aggressively because I knew that I really needed the grotesques to do some work. He seized on me, and that was the difference between winning and losing, in my opinion. It would have been a first turn charge because I was that close to him. I would have done significant damage to him, and I've been a fair amount of further up the board. I'd have been on the objectives. I'd have had the upper hand. He might have played very well and knocked me off them, but it was painful. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't pleasant to lose that way.
Yeah, it's not, because you just get out deployed straight away.
Yeah.
It's like you have to show it's like showing your hand of cards and then going, cool, now it's your turn to play against me. It doesn't really make sense.
So, what else do you want?
I want that Castellan to go up in points.
I think that will happen. In my opinion, also, I think that it's a little cheap where it is at the minute.
The Castellan does far too much for what his points is worth. Like, he is able to single-handedly win games. Like, I've played matches before where he's one-shotted a unit of -1, toughness 4, 3 up invulnerable save, 6 up feel no pain, 3 wound each, Harlequin bikes.
Yeah.
With 1 gun, he's got rid of the entire unit. Yeah.
So the Castellan you'd like to see go up in points.
Mm-hmm.
I can certainly agree with that.
We've had a couple of comments in the chat, by the way. We can pick them up.
What the lads want?
Turn 1 deep strike, please.
Back. Get that back. Yeah.
Yeah, turn 1 deep strike. How do I feel about that? I don't know. I think you should be able to deep strike in turns 4 and 5. I don't see why you have to bring it on by maybe not turn 5, because if you've gone second, then you could just jump on an objective. Yeah. But maybe turns 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, I think that should be realistic. I would like to see just a flat 6 game. I hate variable game length, especially at tournaments.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
because basically, let's say in a tournament you win all your 5 games, right? So you're up at this point where, or even if it doesn't matter, whatever it is, whatever wins you finish on, you could miss out on top 3, winning the event, coming top 10, whatever it is, because somebody else's games went to a 7th turn and they were able to score more Eternal War and more Maelstrom points every turn than you. Because if your games all finish on, for example, turn 5, like all of my games were over by turn 5, none of them went to turn 6 or 7. So then if somebody else on another table had the same amount of wins as you, but theirs went on, then they're going to get a lot more battle points and they're going to beat you. So I think knowing, and this is what I love about ITC, I love a fixed point cap. So this is the maximum amount I can score in this game, and I've got this many turns to do it. I love that as a competitive environment. I think that's really good. So I'd like that to be changed. And I think there should be a cap at tournaments in ETC style. I think there should be a cap of how many points you can score. Just again, make sure it's fair across the board. We've got some other comments. I hope the retool the CP mechanic, making it closer to AOS, not farming for CPs, playing the army instead of tricks. I think I don't mind farming, like getting them back on 5s. I think that's okay with once per turn. I don't really know how AOS works. I actually think the CP thing is fine as it is in the game. I think having some armies should be rewarded for having more CPs than others, in which I really like what they've done with Space Marines of the Red Corsairs. Is that what they're called? So when to actually take Chaos Marines, you get more CPs, which I think is cool, because you then don't need to ally in loads of other rubbish. So the reason why like Deathwatch and Custodes and Grey Knights need to ally in. Knights are different because they actually have their own mechanic to getting loads of CPs anyway. because obviously they've got their own detachment, which if you take 3 big ones, you get loads more CPs anyway. So I think it would be nice to see if you took so many Space Marine models, you get extra CPs for that, so you don't need to ally in Guard, for example.
Yeah, sure.
Or
In my opinion, the change that they made, where you can only get one CP back, has been brilliant. I think that's worked really well, as opposed to the farming that was going on, where people were getting 5, 6 CP back a turn. That was crazy,
yeah,
and that needed to be stopped. And I think that mechanic has done that, and it's also not broken some of the warlord traits.
yeah,
Like I'll use labyrinthine cunning, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
So we've
still
got
getting, still worth taking.
Paul said, not sure about seizing. I don't mind it. A good player can adapt to going second. Yeah, like Paul, I've got no problem with going second if I know there's a potential to go second, not in a 1 in 6 chance, which then happens time and time again. I think it's very situational. I could take a list that is a little bit more adapted to going second with the AdMech, but they wouldn't have the mobility or the range to keep up with it. So that's why you don't see AdMech on top tables. AdMech don't normally go 3 and 2 at a tournament. So there's kind of like, well, some armies can adapt, but a lot can't because they don't have the mobility. It's not in their playstyle. It's more the case of I'm showing you where I'm deploying, and now you can counter deploy and then go first. That's the problem for me in the new way of deploying. I don't mind it so much in the you go I go because you could be going second anyway.
Yeah.
It's the here's exactly what I'm going to do. Oh, now seize on me and just destroy me. That's not what I like. Yeah. Then we've got Paul's also said guards should go up to 5 points each. Could possibly see that. Yeah. Are you thinking though also for all knights undercosted for what they can put out? Don't you think so? Actually, I don't actually think knights are undercosted. Like for example, the Crusader that I take, he, I'll be honest, was a complete waste of points all tournament. He did nothing for me in any of the games. He was pretty much useless, and he was actually a handicap. So yeah,
It's a lot of points to do nothing in a turn if you've so the one that you take, if I understand correctly, is or remembered correctly, is 498 points. There's how you run him. There's a
yeah,
lot of Dakar on that night, but if he has a bit of a whiffer or if he has to concentrate on one target to get rid of it, then if you had 500 points of other items, it may be that might be more effective.
yeah, exactly that.
But it depends what you need codex,
He's a
obviously.
he's a 500 point. He's a 500 point distraction. That's all he is. So one possibility for Castellans to make Order of Companions once per game only. Yeah, cap knights at a 4++. Yeah, that'll probably happen as well.
Yeah.
I think there's ways to work around that though, and I've got some theories how you still keep your knight on a 3++. What about roll for turn 1 deep strikers on a 4-up? I don't know. Again, I
Think
think
about the problem, right? So the problem was that what was occurring is that people were bringing in their armies in turn 1 deep strike before you had chance to do anything. Possibly, if they had first turn and absolutely smashing you and getting rid of half your army.
yeah,
So what that happened was basically the game was won on the dice roll. Who goes first? Right, it's me. I've won. And so what it seemed as though what GW wanted to do was take that away. So you had better chance to screen and utilize your units and have more interaction.
like
Level it out better. And I think they've done that really well. So for me,
imagine turn 1. Right, imagine this, guys. If you're thinking about that, you want turn 1 deep strike back. You go second to orcs. They jump over 40 boys,
yeah,
and they then bring in 3 units of 30 man storm boys, whatever the biggest size they can take,
yeah,
and they're all on basically an 8-inch charge, re-rolling. They'll pile in, fight twice, consolidate into your entire army before you've had time to push out, screen at all. You're dead. That's it. It's game. Like, that's not going to be any fun for anybody. At least if you get a turn, you can push out and you can stop that from happening.
unless you've got orcs and you like a lot of rest because
Yeah.
you're going to get it.
Some nerfs to Gene Stealer Cult would be excellent. I
They haven't
don't.
been out that long, have they?
I don't.
Do they need nerfing already?
The only thing that needs a nerf is Mental Onslaught. Now, my prediction is because Mental Onslaught just being able to one shot a knight is ridiculous. So I think I don't know if you lot remember, but when the FAQ came out for Gene Stealer Cult, there was an FAQ that came out and it basically capped it as 6 wounds. I think what GW did was they accidentally released the big FAQ Gene Stealer Cult FAQ when they shouldn't have. And then someone was like, oh god, you put up the wrong FAQ, put this one back up instead. So I think we'll see that other FAQ come back for Gene Stealer Cult, which I think is good. Max out is 6. What else we've got here? Pure faction army should get a bonus of more CPs. Definitely think that's a good idea. I like that. Ynnari Index making Soul Burst a stratagem. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Ynnari work and function. I think the problem with Ynnari as well is that they've actually massively hit Craftworld in a bad way. So now
Yeah.
Reapers and Spears are overcosted in a Craftworld book. They're points efficient if 50% of the time Soul Burst goes off, but if not, they're not worth it. Like, you wouldn't pay that many points for that unit. It's just, in an Eldar army now, they should just go back to, the points should go back to what they were in the Codex of Craftworld, I think, but without the Ynnari stratagem, and see where Craftworld lie. I think Craftworld have only won a GT once ever. Pure Craftworld.
Yeah.
And that says it all.
I would really like to buy more Craftworld. I really like them. I like the models. I think they're really cool. I've always liked them, and for no other reason than that. There's some good stuff in there, but they've been heavily, obviously, the Ynnari tax has hit them hard.
Yeah.
I'd love to play some Shining Spears, but I'm not interested in playing Ynnari. But I wouldn't go for it because I just think they're too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well go Ynnari if you're going to take them.
Oh, definitely. You have to, yeah. Like, it's literally, that's what you do. Gabe said, but when you say saying is still a dice roll decides who wins when you talk about seizing, it does against my list. There are certain lists that need to. It's the thing is, I'm not saying that the seize roll changes. You don't win if you seize. It does depend on who you face. But it was just my situation with the list that I have, with also not having any line of sight terrain. That's what won the game on a seize roll. Because the other thing as well is within my list, I rely on my CPs to do a lot of work for me. So if I need to spend 2 CPs to auto pass morale on a unit, if I need to spend some CPs to rotate Iron Shields turn 1, if I need to spend CPs to put my knight back on full bracket turn 1, I'm down like 4 CPs even before the game's really begun. And that's the problem. So, yeah, it's not like, but I'm talking about it would cripple. You would literally not have a chance if some armies could turn 1 deep strike. Like, there would be hardly any counter to that. So, yeah. It's just that mine is a little bit of a unique situation based on the deployment, the map, the terrain, the army, everything like that.
And that's why you're developing the list. You know what I mean? That's why you're developing that list. You know, like you're trying to make it stronger so that it's less vulnerable to stuff like that. I suppose.
In an ITC format, it would be fine.
Yeah.
I would in ITC. I'd have probably gone 4-1. I think, because I could squeeze out more points out of some of those bad matchups, even if I do go second, or I can deploy defensively because I know I don't need board control as much as you do in Maelstrom. So yeah, I wouldn't need to be so aggressive because I could rely on, okay, I've got an objective, I can score a point, and I'll just focus on killing more, and then I could still stay in the game. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off the topic a little bit, but then we've got flyers not move blocking. Yeah, cool, like that. Yeah, flyers shouldn't really block.
I do use that quite a lot.
I know.
So no, let's keep it as it is, please. That's one of my tactics.
So I think what's going to happen is that Eldari Doom Jinx will only be for Craftworld only. So Mark,
can't work. I was thinking about this when I was driving to work. I was thinking because this frightened me. I was fearful of this silly idea. But you imagine this, right? You've got a like my list is Drakari, Cabal, Coven, and Craftworld. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then I use the Farseer for Doom. I use the Warlock for Jinx. I put it on a unit, and then I shoot that unit with my Craft World dudes, and then I go, right, I'm going to shoot them now with my Talos with the haywire cannons. No, you can't do that because you can't target them if they've been doomed. That's crazy. That's like
No,
your
no,
army's redundant.
no, no. You The psychic powered doom
Yeah.
doesn't affect your haywire. So you don't get to re-roll your... You can still shoot at it, but you just won't get to re-roll wounds. Like, you got to think of the psychic...
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
It's like you can have Bobby G, who gives
Yeah,
re-roll hits and wounds, next to a Blood Angel, I don't know, Predator. He's only going to get re-roll ones to hit. He's not going to get the re-roll wounds.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So you can sleep a little bit
yeah,
better now,
all right.
Mark.
Yeah, I still don't like it.
Well, of course you don't, because it nerfs your army massively.
The thing is though, I don't think my army is OP though. You know, like
But, like,
it's how many tournaments is that combo winning? It's not winning every tournament. Yunari's winning loads more. You know what I mean? Like look at Orcs. Look at Simon Prittis and his Tau. That
okay,
they're like
Mark, I hate to burst it to you. It needs a nerf.
it doesn't.
It's not right.
It's all good.
Guys, do you agree
Nothing
with
to
me in
see
the
here.
chat? Look,
Move on.
Mark, you're talking to the person that owns about 5,000 points of Eldar, right? I want this stuff to work together, but I know it's not right for the game. But I can see that. I've invested more than you have, if you want to call it all that, right? I've played Eldar much. The reason why you run that combo, Mark, is because I told you to run it.
Yeah, and it works wonderfully.
It does, but I don't think... Because think of it like this, right? Let's say they nerf the Castellan to a 4++.
Yeah.
That's the same as you hitting it without Jinx. It goes to rotate Iron Shield to a 4-up and you go Vect. He's on a 5+. What's your problem? And
Oh, that's fine.
if he's got the... I think it needs to go. They need to sort out Harlequins. Harlequins are in such a bad place at the moment. Someone said Deathwatch not being able to use beta bolter rule and special ammunition at the same time. To be honest, it doesn't come up that much, if I'm honest, the beta bolter rule and the... I think I probably ever used it twice together.
Yeah.
It's obviously much stronger than what anyone else can do from the Space Marines, but it's the only reasonably decent competitive Space Marine list there is. And it's a 3-2 list at the end of the day, Deathwatch. Maybe 4-1, but in single faction as well, Deathwatch have got nothing else. Literally nothing else. You want to take some heavy support, you've got to take a Land Raider. It's ridiculous. So, yeah. I can see why the beta bolter rule and the special ammunition at the same time isn't probably the best combo, but they've got nothing else at the moment. So they've got some storm shields which are easy to smite off the board. Yeah. So Evil Sons are what I mean. Terminators and bikers in veteran squad lose their biker and basically the Terminator and biker in the squad don't get it anyway. So they can't move and still they're basically an infantry model. And normally you deep strike your boys in anyway, so you're normally within double tap range as it is. So it doesn't really make too much odds, to be fair. But I can see if they do it, I think that will be I could see them doing it, but I don't think they necessarily need to at the moment. I think they should let the dust settle first. Right, guys.
Should we call it?
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay. Super.
So, someone has asked, where is our Chaos live? Ask VT. So we'll do that next time as our Chaos one.
We're all actually, Steve and I, incredibly busy at the moment in real life, and we really wanted to prepare for it well and do it properly. Mm-hmm. So then we've because Steve had been to the tournament, he's been working on AdMech. It was a really good topic to talk about. The Chaos is next, I promise.
And I'm moving house next week.
Yeah.
And my other business team box has just been so busy this week. But if you are a Patreon supporter, then this, or basically by the end of the month, you'll have two Better the Meta videos out. That'll be coming. We've got an advanced tactics session coming up. Jared's just reminded me. We've got some Patreon comments. So let me bring these up.
Okay.
Jared, you top man. Keeping me on point. What else is coming up this month on Patreon? We've also got another advanced tactics lesson that I'm putting up. We then filmed another 5, didn't we, Mark?
Yep.
We filmed 5. I just need to edit. And then also we've got 3 battle reports we filmed. I just need to edit, but they take about 8 hours per edit. So I just need time to sit down and basically edit them all. So just to quickly run through what we've got on the old. Sam said, "I would like to see negative hit modifiers capped." This is our Patreon questions. I'd like to see negative hit modifiers capped so everything can hit on a 6. Okay,
That's fair.
Yeah, and also, how do you work Yunari? Can come sort of some book and have 2 distractions. Yunari's, yeah. It's going to be difficult with Yunari and the whole single faction stuff. But yeah, I think stratagems could be the same way. Rotate Iron Shields capped at 4++, and raised to 2 CPs for the big knights, 3 for the Castellan. And then 1. I think that's how it should be as well. So you want to rotate Iron Shields, 1 CP for a little baby Helverin, 2 CPs for your everything else, and then 3 CPs for a Crast or... sorry, not a Crast, a Castellan. I think that could be good.
Yeah.
And then finally, other questions that we've got... from Jared, actually. While the early predictions was with the change of the best in faction determinations... was that it won't impact the competitive scene. However, there have been several GT major wins that are mono-faction. Any thoughts on why these are surfacing? Then best players filtering lists over time that are coming around now. I think, is it going to change the meta by the best in faction thing? No, it just gives people more to play for. And also, it does mean that basically... Yakini said, "Can we see your chaos list?" I'll tell you what, I'll release it next week when we do the Ask VT. And what I'll do as well is I'll put it in our mentorship group. I'll post it in there.
It might not be next week though, so just be careful. We might do the VT in 2 weeks. Depends on.
Oh yeah, cool.
Moving house and all that sort of thing. So
yeah, that's true. I'll put it in I'll put it in our mentorship Facebook group anyway for you.
So Joaquin, you'll see it there.
Yeah, I'll put it in there for you to check out. But I'll explain it on. Maybe I'll do a live. Actually, I'll do a live in our mentorship group about it.
Yeah, cool.
So then, there have been some GT wins with single faction, which I think is really cool. I think some of the better players will look at it and go, "Cool, I want to win best in faction." Like Manny Chima, who's one of the best players in the UK. He won big with his Tau. He wants to win best in faction with Tau, so he's now more incentivized to play Tau. So we've got a really good player playing Tau all the time in every tournament because he wants to win it. So we will see the rise of these single mono factions rising to the top because these better players will play them and they'll draw out everything that they possibly can in them. So yeah, it's why I've built a pure Deathwatch list and a pure Admech list.
Yeah.
So yeah. Brian said, "I want to see the Admech list in the group." Yeah, it will be on Patreon, but I'll put it in you on about my new one? Do you want to see the new one, Brian? If that's the one you want to see, then I can put that up in our or what we can do is, in fact, Brian, when I've got Tabletop Simulator downloaded, we can have a game and I'll test out my new list on it. How does that sound? Then we've got another question from Gabe. Working on my Deathwatch list, and I wondered what you thought with the viability of the following was full vet squads consisting of Sergeant, Stormbolter, Storm Shield, 3 vets with Stormbolter, 1 with a Storm Shield, Terminator with Power Maul, Stormbolter, Vanguard vet with Stormbolter, Storm Shields, 4 bikers, split at the beginning of the game, so you have troop bikes that can charge, fullback shoot, fullback charge, and you can have a 5-man unit laying down fire cover as needed. One of the best, it's good. I don't think you need 3 units of that though. I think 1 unit is okay because then you've just got objective grabbing troops. bikes with running around with the veteran. But if I'm honest, I think you're better off keeping don't go too far. The list that I really, really like is basically take out all the bikes and put them in single factions, so then you get beater bolter rules and storm bolters. That's what I would do. So it's a good idea, but you want to have the versatility in the squad of the veterans to fall back and shoot, fall back and charge, because obviously if their Vanguard veteran and their biker isn't part of their unit, they don't get access to it. So yeah, cool. We've got some more. We had about 126 comments in the thread. Yeah, Brian said definitely down to test the AdMech. Yeah, I just need to see how tabletop thingy job works.
Stimulator.
And then have time to do it.
Yeah.
Sam said, yeah, I want to see this. And then Brian said we'll record the game. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll wrap that up. I think that's everything from Patreon and all the questions and absolutely everything. So, guys, yeah, thanks for joining in. Do give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe, because there is going to be a battle report coming very soon with all 4 assassins in. And if I get time, I'll try and edit that tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Cool. I'll put a shift in.
Good
ready for Easter weekend. All right, guys. Well, look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you, mate. Have a great Easter, everybody.
Yeah, guys, have a great Easter, whatever it is you're doing, and we'll see you all soon.
See you soon.
Take care. Finish and broadcast.